I'm going to go home tonight and see my 3 kids, see my family, recalibrate, see my mom. I think I'll be fine. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. You know, you go out and when you lay everything on the line, you know, at the end of the day, you can live with that.
True that, but
in other words, I did my job.
Yep.
Don't ask me how I'm feeling. Ask everybody else in the locker room what they're going to do next game.
Read between
That's basically what he's saying. We all said it. We were all right. The Bronx will come out and dominate. But the difference, besides him dominating, you see 2 different teams. You see a team that is unsure of their role in Cleveland. You've seen players that, like J.R. Smith, when LeBron misses him on a wide open pass, he starts pouting. A lot of guys on that team start pouting. You see guys on defense that's never played defense in their life that's asked to guard guys one-on-one that's not been able to, like guys like Kyle Korver. The Celtics, it's easy to see they're playing as a team. They're playing for each other. They're coached that way by the shots that they're getting. They, like you said, I heard you say they're not worried about taking shots. Nobody is. They're just playing the game. They're going with the flow. It's easy to see that the Celtics are playing for each other and not their personal game. You can't see that with the Cavs.
I didn't watch the game with you last night, but I was thinking about you when I was watching in this regard. I would imagine there were some possessions defensively by the Cavs in the second half last night that made you angry.
Drove me crazy.
Why? I figured that was the case. Tell the audience why.
Well, it's certain possessions where you can't allow a guy to have Kyle Korver on the ISO and get 4 to 5 dribbles and expect him not to get scored on.
Yeah.
Like
Dip his shoulder on him twice.
The defense was terrible. You can't let Morris be at the top of the key against Tristan Thompson and take 3 and get all the way to the rack and get an animal with no help. Like the defense has been bad all year, so it's not a surprise to me. But last night it looked real bad.
What about JR? Now, I know how much pride you take. JR is kind of a guy you connect with. You say y'all kind of built from the same kind of stuff. How disappointed were you in him not being able to show up in this game? Because if JR shows up, it's going to be tied up 1-1.
Well, I'm highly disappointed because not only have I been publicly saying that he's the guy to make shots and he's a good friend of mine, it sucks to see that him not taking advantage of this moment. You know, you have a chance.
You only get so many of these.
And you have a chance to beat Robin to Batman. Nobody else is really stepping up. Kevin is playing well, but Kevin is not going to be enough to beat the Celtics. Kyle Korver had a great game, but you can't rely on that. I say it all the time. Kyle Korver is not going to beat you. He's going to get some open looks. He's not going to beat you. JR, other guys, they got to step up, but they're not finding that right now.
That's the part about JR, really, the last 2 seasons that has been the most disappointing to me, particularly the series. JR, with what he did, let's not forget, Game 7 of the NBA Finals, the beginning of the second half, he's the one at the third quarter, scored 8 points, get the Cavs back in that basketball game. He sobbed at the post-game press conference with his dad in the room, talking about how he had felt he had made some decisions that made his family look bad, that had made him look bad. He had an opportunity to rewrite his NBA story to a degree. This is his last best chance to make an NBA Finals. This is George Hill's maybe only chance to make an NBA Finals. And for those guys to not take advantage of the moment, JR could have erased what was his worst professional regular season with a good NBA playoffs by being a poor man's Kyrie to LeBron's Batman. And to be 0 for 7 from the field last night, have the awful flagrant on Al Horford. It's because I also like JR. Like, you know him better than me, I know him a little bit. It's disappointing to see.
Yeah, and that was the story of the game. We'll talk about a lot of different things. I don't know if you saw this earlier, but we put up a graphic, the backcourt. I think you'll be astounded by the numbers, the lack of productivity by Cleveland's backcourt.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's like 41-3 in a championship atmosphere, a game that you got to have. You have 2 veteran players that don't give Kevin Love and LeBron in support as far as George Hill and JR. And to me, that was the most disappointing thing in watching the game. These 2 players who you're in legacy type games. These are the type of games that change how people think about you. They to me, didn't seem to have the sense of urgency that I thought that it should be appropriate for that situation.
And, you know, it's a play when LeBron James was taking it out, and they ran an out-of-bounds play, and J.R. Smith came off wide open towards LeBron, and LeBron looked him off. And ever since that, J.R. was pouting the whole game. You go back in the game, you'll see when
great observation.
And he was pouting the whole game, and he never was able to get it back. he has to be able to play well, like, especially with me. We talked about it, how much I love the game in the past. It bothers me to watch the game like that, knowing that I want to be out there. I would love to go out there and give 110% and help LeBron, and see guys out there not getting the job done when LeBron is working so hard. It's hard to watch.
It's so frustrating to constantly talk. This has been the narrative throughout the whole season. LeBron needs a supporting cast. LeBron, they need to step up. Are they just not good enough, or did they not try last night? What was it, an effort thing, or they just don't have the skill set to do it? You have Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, George Hill combined for 11 points. How do you win a game like that?
Well, I said Tristan Thompson wasn't going to be the answer. I mean, how many turnovers did LeBron have trying to get him the ball on pick and roll?
First play of the game.
You know what I'm saying? And he just sometimes he's not there. You know, he's not locked in. He's probably thinking more about rebounding than actually being aggressive on offense. But you just see two different teams out there, Jenna. You see a team that, like I said, that's playing for each other, that's hungry, that's all on the same page, that's paying attention to detail. I guarantee you, in the meetings before games and on practice days, everybody's in there quiet, paying attention. You might have, the way it looks like guys on Cleveland locker room, some on the phone, some paying attention to the TV, some.
There couldn't be a bigger dichotomy between the two teams.
Right.
And just visually how they play, how they look on the court. The Celtics defense moves as a solitary unit. They move as one, like a shifting shape. The Cavs defense, it's 5 guys who it honestly at times looked like it's like the open gym.
Like team defense. Not team defense.
Who's next 5? You. All right, match him. You don't know how to talk to each other. That's why it looks so. And effort-wise, in the second half, in the fourth quarter in particular, the Cavs had gotten within. When LeBron came back, it was 11 when LeBron came back in the game. They'd gotten within 3 possessions down. And there were back-to-back possessions. The Cavs got to stop. And they give up an offensive rebound, score. Give up an offensive rebound, score. There's no coming back from that.
2 things. One, we shouldn't be surprised. The Celtics, during the course of the season, #1 in defense. That showed in the playoffs. Cavs, 29th in defense. But the reason why we have some sense of hope, because this is the way they were last year.
Yep.
And we just thought, oh, they're going to get to the playoffs, they're going to turn it on. But the guy they're missing, don't nobody want to say it.
Kyrie.
He's over in street clothes. If they had Kyrie, they can play bad defense. Because LeBron, in the time that he takes a little bit of a respite, you got Kyrie cooking it up and stirring it up. They miss Kyrie. And the trades that they made to try to replace his overall productivity has been a colossal failure. That's why they're down 0-2.
And at the end of this, and at the end of the season, at the end of the playoffs, when you come to East Conference Finals, West Conference Finals, team defense wins games. Teams are too good at this point of the season. You got to have great team defense. You have to be on the same page, and it's obviously Boston is the only team that's on the same page in the series.
All right, this series shifts back to Cleveland now on Saturday for Game 3. Stephen, we'll see you a little bit later on in the show. Coming up.